Shabbat Shalom. Thank you everyone. Lovely to have you on for my weekly Dvar Torah. Now it's amazing. Not only does the Torah tell us how to live our lives and where to go, this week it even tells us how to get there. First of all, the Torah tells us about a man who was careless and as a result, he accidentally killed someone. Today we refer to a person like that as having committed negligent homicide. The Jewish nation is instructed to establish Arei Miklat, cities of refuge, where the killer can flee to avoid retribution, and he has to live there until he can return home. But the Torah does more than just tell us to build cities of refuge. In a commandment that is unparalleled and unprecedented, the Torah appears to require creating a kind of highway commission, telling us, Tachin lecha haderech, prepare the way for yourself, and that road shall be available for any killer to flee to the Ir Miklat. Now, if you look at Rashi, he quotes the Gemara in Makot that says that there were signs posted at each crossroad declaring Miklat, Miklat, refuge, refuge, and pointing the way to the nearest city of refuge. The question is, why? If it's important to put up road signs in Eretz Yisrael, in the Holy Land, shouldn't they be guiding us to Jerusalem, guiding the thousands of pilgrims from all over the world who journey to Yerushalayim for the festivals? Why should cities that are there to act as refuge for manslaughter offenders get road signs while the holiest city of Israel, Yerushalayim, doesn't get a road sign? To answer that question, let me tell you about a man called Rabbi Meir Shapiro. This early 20th century rabbi established one of Europe's most prestigious yeshivas of its era. It was called Yeshivas Chachmei Lublin. And not only did it have a magnificent beis medrash, it also had a spacious dormitory and large dining room. The idea behind these beautiful structures and interiors was that they would spare the yeshiva boys any kind of embarrassment of having to eat and sleep in people's homes, which is of course what they did in so many other yeshivas. They were yeshiva students on a yeshiva campus. Today, in most yeshivas, we take this idea for granted. But in those days, this was a great innovation, and Rabbi Meir Shapiro was the one who did it first. But although the students did not need to plead for these amenities, somebody did, and that was Rabbi Shapiro himself. Well, nothing comes out of a vacuum, you know that. Nothing ever happens unless you put effort into it. No pain, no gain. Rav Shapiro traveled around the entire world, from community to community, to raise funds for his beautiful yeshiva in Lublin. In fact, one year, he actually agreed to serve as the chazan, the cantor, in the prestigious North American synagogue for Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. Do you know why? In exchange for a $1,000 gift to the yeshiva. Amazing. Anyway, during one of his trips to the United States, he visited the office of a prominent and very wealthy businessman who was no longer as religiously observant as his parents and grandparents had been. They came from Europe. He was an all-American, not so orthodox, not so religious. While Rabbi Shapiro was there, the businessman asked him a very unusual question. Rabbi, he said, why is it that you have to see so many Jewish people, so many Jews across the world to accomplish your goal, raising money for yeshiva? If God wanted your yeshiva to flourish, why didn't he simply arrange that you'd meet just one philanthropist who will undertake the entire project by adding a few zeros to the amount written on his check? After all, there are plenty of modern secular institutions in the United States that were established and are supported by one benefactor. Why can't it be the same for your yeshiva? Rabbi Shapiro smiled. Let me explain, he said. God doesn't just want Yeshivas Chachmei Lublin to thrive. He also wants as many people as possible to know what is happening there. If one man gave me a check, that would be it. I would never be talking to you about Yiddishkeit or anything else, about your heritage, your past. your future. But because I need hundreds, in fact thousands of checks in order to support the yeshiva, I have to meet hundreds, thousands of Jews who have now all heard about the tremendous love for Torah that our students have. They've heard about their devotion to the cause of learning, of studying Torah. They know what is being studied, and they know how our boys apply Torah to everyday life. When one person gives one check to endow an institution or a structure, this is what Rabbi Shapiro said, nobody else gets involved in its development. And the intricate details never become important to anyone else but the person who gave money. It is not the shared responsibility of a community. There's no excitement. There's no involvement. There's no buzz. And there will never be any enthusiasm. Okay, so you're thinking, how does that relate to road signs, Are Miklat Yerushalayim? Let me tell you. Imagine the scene. A man kills someone accidentally. And now he has to flee to a city of refuge. He doesn't know where the city is. So he goes up to the nearest door, he knocks on the door, fellow opens the door, he says, hello, I just killed someone, accidentally. Would you happen to know where I can find the Ir Miklot? Where's the nearest Ir Miklot? What do you think would happen in that situation? There would be such a negative vibe everywhere. A killer is on the loose, or worse still, reckless homicide becomes the norm. The shock of death is dulled, and it becomes part of day-to-day life. We don't want that. We don't want to diminish recklessness by bringing people into close contact with those who are reckless. And so, the signs are carefully set up at every single crossroad, and the directions are very, very clear, so that the fleeing murderers know exactly where to go. They don't need to ask anyone. But now, let's take a look at the other side of the coin, the flip side. The trip to Yerushalayim. There's no signs. You have to knock on a door. Excuse me, I'm going to Yerushalayim. I'm going to the Beis HaMikdash. I'm so excited. Would you happen to know how to get there? The fellow who opens the door might be so enthused, so inspired, you know what? He'll come with. Hold on a minute. Just let me pack my bag. I'm coming too. When people share good stuff, the excitement is amazing. Spirituality is in the air. And that is the kind of vibe that we like. Let's hope that the vibe we are spreading, you and me, is all good stuff. And the effect we have on the world is the kind of buzz that will bring about the coming of Mashiach and the rebuilding of our temple in Jerusalem. B'mheira v'yameinu amen. Shabbat shalom. Thank you.